Sit. Okay, so here we are on 3. So you can see relative to the flag, your alignment on this one is not bad. Still a touch left, but not bad. Take away and backswing fine, especially to there. I know you hate that. I don't really think it's that bad. Okay, but here's the problem now. So everything still looks really good there. Okay, but then you'll see the problem start here. So first we obviously see the hands get a bit narrow, club get inside, knee collapse. Okay, and then obviously if you're trying to hit the ball there, it's going to be very hard with the club at that angle. So obviously that one goes way right, although it was well struck. Okay, so this is the tee shot on 5 after we had a chat, but still aiming a bit too far left. Rest of the setup looks great. As I said before, backswing and that all good, and then from here, when we reroute those arms, a little narrow, a little inside, and then obviously the posture gives way, and then once again you can see how difficult it's going to be to consistently hit the ball there when your club is attacking the ball on that angle there. Okay, I'm sure you can see what I'm saying. So very much from the inside, and once again this one starts out right. Okay, so then this is the wedge, and we just want to really check the low point in the wedges and the knees. Obviously looks a little more controlled, this one, for a bit longer, and generally is. And then just at the end, see the left knee slide and collapse, right knee collapse, and you can see that low point just a little early. And then obviously when it gets bad, then the knee goes a little bit more. We swing a little more from the inside, and then the low point goes even further back. Okay, so we just got to sort out that wedge technique. Hello boy, thanks for the game again on Saturday. Yeah, obviously a bit of work to do, you'll see on the videos there. So we just got to kind of get that game plan right and plug through. So let's start with the drivers. Now I know you focused on, the length, you hate the length, and the knees. I mean, the knees I certainly agree with, but I wouldn't really worry too much about the length for now. But the bottom line is we've got to sort these angles out. So, it starts with aiming left, okay, and then swinging right. And I really feel like your knees are trying to get you to the angle that you think you want to hit from, rather than your knees are causing that. I feel like your knees are reacting to you trying to swing your arms and try and hit the inside of the golf ball. Okay, so we've got to learn how to square up the shoulders. Don't worry about the length or whatever, but find the back of the ball. Stop swinging from in here. Find the back of the ball. Find the back of the ball. Okay, start trusting it. So the first way to do it is obviously alignment and start line. The one on 9 in particular was probably my favorite, although you didn't flash it. It was the closest driver that was to neutral, okay, to hitting the back of the golf ball. Okay, then into the irons. Okay, the 2 iron off the tee I would swing or equate to more like the driver, okay, so more about alignment, finding the back of the ball. Okay, the irons themselves, approach shots, a little bit of the same stuff. Okay, obviously the degree that you swing off line is not as pronounced. Okay, but it's still a little bit of the same stuff. So at the level we're trying to get to, the little 8-iron hit on 3, that dispersion's too far to a left flag. It's a good 25 meters right of target. Okay, it's too much, and there's too many that now with the shorter clubs start right and stay right. Okay, now the fix is not to aim further left, okay, because that affects your consistency plus your ball flight, okay, plus you're going to spend your whole life, okay, trying to hold the face and slide the knees so that the club doesn't close down and go away left. So it's not a case of, okay, inside the ball, let me aim left, and swing on line, it's not going to work. Okay, that swing plane is going to be completely incorrect, and then it's just going to be too difficult to always consistently hold the face. Okay, so again, more about getting more on line there, and then finding the back of the ball, stop hitting from the inside. Okay, and then wedges, okay, we need to, I mean, for the same reasons, okay, but now we're getting into a wedge with a really, really sharp edge. Okay, and now everything becomes a mess. We've got to revamp the wedges and the pitching. Okay, now, they're very similar sort of techniques, okay, but not the same. All right, we're gonna try and take out sort of any movements in the plane. Okay, we're going to try and keep this thing as neat as possible. Now, when we get into the wedges and the pitching, the length of the swing and the knees are now very important. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, is try and be shorter and flatter. Okay, so not just shorter, we're going to stop taking the club out there. Okay, we're going to go shorter and flatter, nice and compact, like that. Okay, we're going to start off with 3 different swing ends. Okay, and they're going to be dictated by the shoulders. Okay, so this is going to stay nice and flat and compact there. Okay, and then we go sort of 70-degree or half swing, 80-degree or 3/4 swing, 90-degree or full swing. That's for our wedges. Okay, so we're going to go short and flat, and then we just turn the other way. Okay, very little lateral movement, very little knee movement. Okay, we're going to try and get a consistent circle, and most important, a consistent low point. At the moment, obviously, it's worse with the pitching. Okay, we start off there. Okay, and then as we start to slide, okay, our low point moves from at the ball to behind the ball. Okay, so if we keep everything the same, we're going to hit it fat. If we try and do something funny, we're going to hit it thin. Most people from there would try and stand up and hit it thin. What you try and do is lead the handle. Okay, and that just hits it either very thin or even a shank sometimes. And it all comes from the same thing of the plane and the swing path is completely incorrect. Right, so we've got to stop doing this in to out, shallow, low to high, and we've got to learn how to control this low point, okay, especially with the wedges. Okay, so we've got to rebuild this wedge technique. Okay, we've got to get together and do a session for that, okay, because we're going to have to start outside with those 30-40 meter shots and then build it up from there. Okay, then short game. You know, I hadn't seen the short game in terms of what you explained to me, but short game looked fine. Again, bunkers and pitching and wedges, that's all the same. We've discussed that. I'm talking more about the chipping and the chip and run. Looks absolutely fine. Maybe 1 or 2, we got a little bit disconnected with the arms. Just keep everything, shoulders and arms moving together. But once we got into the round, and especially the ones from the fringe, were great. Putting is always very, very good. I only say one little thing. Once we get outside of that medium putting range, say 35 foot, once we get outside of that, you know, a lag putt, okay, I would consider that more of a short game shot, actually, not putting. The technique is slightly different because of the speed the putter is now having to move at. So I feel like that's the one time, 40 foot and up, it's the one time where that backswing, okay, is a little too short and you have to try and hit it. Okay, and the strike and the ball's not quite right. So I think once we get outside that 40-foot mark, okay, let's take the putt a little further back, and we can still accelerate, so we can still have this sort of short to long, okay, but it'll match that little bit better on those really long putts, and then the strike is better, and then obviously from there your touch will be good. The medium and the short putts, absolutely fantastic. The routine and green reading and that, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so that's the work we've got to do. So I'd say the biggest work we've got to do is the wedges and the pitching, okay, and then the swing work is it's there, but it's more about understanding and learning to trust your angles rather than making massive or drastic technical changes.